No Bull. Powered by Earnhardt Auto Centers. For a premier destination near you, head to nobull.com. Here's Chris, Crespin, and Simone.
And welcome in to the Wednesday edition of No Bull with Chris, Crespin, and Simone. Hope everyone is having a great week. We've made it to the midway point of the week, gentlemen, and weirdly enough, and we're going to get into it really off the top of the league, we have football today. While we are recording this show,
you said it's
Wednesday. 2 hours from now.
You said it's
Wednesday. No, I know. Wednesday, not Wednesday night football, Wednesday afternoon football, Wednesday lunchtime football. It's a very weird thing that we're having today, and it's going to be a weird thing to kind of digest while I'm working throughout the rest of the day. Lots of stuff going on in the National Football League and across the sporting world. Gentlemen, how are we doing on a Wednesday? Everybody doing good? Jordan Simone working on the lights over there. Got to make himself look good. Almost blinded yourself.
I always forget
there,
about the lighting. I don't even know does anyone ever see us on here besides when we post videos? Like, can people watch full episodes of this show?
Yeah, they can. YouTube. Just head over to YouTube and you can check out the entire show.
Oh, wow, yeah. If you want to see me fix my lighting a lot, then go to YouTube and you can watch the show. 90% of the time, I forget to even put up the light.
So. It looks good. It makes your nose a little shiny. We're going to have to get you a little bit of some makeup there.
My makeup team is on vacation right now for the holidays.
Oh, is that right?
Okay.
That's unfortunate. All right, we'll get them
back.
We'll
get that worked out for 2021. Yeah, let's work that out. In the meantime, Sean, if you could hit the fancy music so we can tell everybody what is in the lead on the program today, that would be wonderful.
This is the one they're talking about.
I mentioned it off the top. Like, I don't know, 3 hours from now, there's a football game that's going to be played while we're recording this show.
About 3 hours and 20 minutes from now. Yeah, 1:40 local time for us. 3:40 Eastern, where I believe you're at right now, Schubert. I never know where you're at across the country these days. But, weird. On a Wednesday, you've got not just football.
Steelers-Ravens,
like always one of the more anticipated games on the NFL calendar. And right now in the heart of the playoff race, 5-6 games left, depending on where you're at. These guys haven't played in a couple weeks, so 6 for them. But 6 games left on the calendar, and Steelers-Ravens is being played on a Wednesday at 1:40.
We're supposed to be played.
1:40 in the afternoon. Only 2020.
Yeah, and to add to that, earlier today we learned that 2 additional Ravens, 1 staff member, equipment manager, and 1 player tested positive. They do not think that is going to derail the ability to play this game tonight, but there is one other hurdle to clear. The Ravens and everybody involved will be taking point-of-care tests that results come back within about 30 minutes before the game today. If all of those tests come back negative, we are full go for this game tonight. There will be no Lamar Jackson. There will be no J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram. Those 2 guys, the last 2 I mentioned, the 2 running backs, they are cleared and eligible to play, but they only became cleared and eligible to play today. The original thought was they were going to fly to play this game. They are not going to do that now. They are not going to be there. So a short-handed Ravens team tonight or this afternoon when they take on the Steelers, Jordan. Even with that in mind, this is still a rivalry game. These 2 teams do not like each other. Should be some fun football on a Wednesday afternoon.
Look, I'm looking forward to this. I think, there's a lot of moving parts and, obviously no Lamar Jackson. So you're looking for Pittsburgh to dominate. And if you're Pittsburgh, you're just pissed off that this game hasn't been played on time because it kind of messes up everything else. But from a player's point of view, I know that these guys got to be frustrated. Just be like, can we either play or not play or move on? What's going on? There's just been a lot of uncertainty. So I'm glad that they're going to just play it. And as a football fan, I'm not too upset that there's football on every day but Tuesday now. I'm not upset about it. I think there might be a lot of viewers and the NFL might go, hey, should we start playing Wednesday night football or Wednesday football?
Yeah, not happening. The NFLPA, hard pass on that one. Yeah. But we did have Tuesday night football at some point this season. Late in the year.
We're going to have it next week.
Oh, yeah, right. And late in the year, I believe, around the holiday, around Christmas, they do a Friday game as well. So when this season is all done, when this is wrapped up, if they do finish it, and I believe they will, clearly the NFL is doing everything they can to finish it, we will have had football on every day of the week this year in 2020, from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, obviously, a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday throughout the 2020 calendar. Every day will have been accounted for after this Wednesday night affair. First time we're seeing Wednesday night football, gentlemen, since 2005. The opening game of the season, the Giants and the Cowboys played a Wednesday night football game. You know, they usually kick off the season on a Thursday. That year, for some reason, it was on a Wednesday. But that was, again, to start the year. So it wasn't, you know, smack dab in the middle of the season where teams have to adjust quite like the Ravens and Steelers are having to do. So it's not very common, but it has been played on Wednesdays before.
All right, let me ask you this really quick.
Yeah.
We're going to play the line is right later, and I don't know if this game's on. It's probably not. But the Baltimore-Pittsburgh game, what do you think the line is?
Well, you
What do you think?
Whoa. Where did you find the Ravens and the Steelers line?
I'm just looking at it on my app here. I haven't seen any other line.
What's usually next to the other to a Ravens Steelers line? What's usually next to that?
It's only got this game on it. It's only got this game on it. It's on my little app here.
Sean, I'm going to take. I know. I see the look in your eye. I'm going to take it under advisement. I think there might need to be an investigation launched before the game.
What do you think the line is, Sean Crespin?
I would say
I know the
Lamar
answer to
Jackson.
this.
Steelers -5.5.
It is.
Yeah. All right. No, Sean. Hold on. Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a no, Sean. It's going to be a no.
Off-
10 and a
off
half
to a hot
is the
start.
last time I saw it.
Wow.
10.5. RG3 will be in at quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
Does he still have it?
No, he hasn't had it in quite some time. I mean, some would argue he hasn't had it since the knee injury in the playoffs going back a decade ago. So, no, that's going to be a tough go. It's going to be a tough. It's not quite what the Broncos had to deal with, but it's going to be a tough go against one of the best defenses in the NFL, if not the best defense in Pittsburgh. So, tough for the Ravens. 10. Wow, that's a lot. That's a big number even for this game.
College Football Playoff Rankings Edition 2 came out last night, and gentlemen, the top 7, same as the old rankings, unchanged. Nobody has moved inside the top 7. There was some movement behind them. Iowa State, one of the big movers, they move up 4 spots to number 9. Oklahoma State, a little Big 12 representation, they move up 8 spots to spot 15. But overall, Sean, not really a whole lot to get into here. Just the top 7 remain unchanged as we move closer and closer to the finale of the season when we find out who the final 4 are.
Yeah, really the talking points that people have pulled from this over the course of the last almost 24 hours now. Ohio State, you know, with only 4 wins still in there. You know, what will the committee do long term if they continue to not play football games? That's a conversation. Obviously, BYU is a conversation being outside of the top 10. Iowa State has moved herself into the top 10. So those are some of the talking points of it. But yeah, the top 7 unchanged. I have no problem with that. But I know people, if the season continues to roll on for Ohio State the way that it has, and, you know, they only end up playing 5, maybe 6 tops, you know, that'll be a heck of a discussion once you get there on whether or not you include them over some of the other teams who have maybe played almost a full slate. So, but yeah, outside of the top 7, unchanged for the most part. Those are your talking points from Tuesday night's drop of the college football playoff rankings. Good old rank 'em.
Good old
Well, the Big
'em.
Ten,
College.
the Big Ten came out and said that you have to have a minimum amount of games to get to the Big Ten championship, and I don't know if Ohio State's going to be able to reach it, right?
Yeah,
And that's the problem right now, right? Is if they don't play enough games to get to the Big Ten championship game, what does the College Football Playoff Committee do with that information? What do they do with that if we get there? Get there.
We've also put teams into the college football playoffs that did not win their conference before.
Sure.
So that is, to me, that's a non-story. Is Ohio
It's
State
the 4 best teams?
Yeah, is Ohio State one of the 4 best football teams when it comes to eye test mainly this year? Resume will play a factor as it should, but again, you have to weight those and however you're going to weight them, you know, losses, wins, and so forth. But the eye test is going to be the main factor here. And if people believe Ohio State is one of the 4 best teams in the country, on paper they are. So unless they do something that is just drastic and they lose a football game they have no business losing, I don't know how you remove them, because on paper they are, coaching staff to the talent on the roster, one of the top 4 teams in the country. So we've put teams in before who haven't won their conference. You know, you get 2 teams out of the SEC all the time. What would be the difference here? You know, in my opinion, they are one of the top 4 teams in the country. Unless they blow it, I don't know how you remove them. I really don't.
Yeah, I think the difference would be is in some of those scenarios where we've seen two SEC teams, they both made it to the conference championship game, where as if this plays out, Ohio State wouldn't. I'm not saying that they would do that, but that would be the difference, is those teams have played in their conference championship game. Ohio State wouldn't. But again, we have to cross that bridge. They have to ultimately not play enough games to be able to get there. Clear your schedules, guys. The NBA has released what it looks like on opening night and Christmas Day. Now, these are tentative.
When do the Suns play?
Things can change.
When are the Suns playing?
I don't have
what time
them in
on
the press
Christmas?
Release. No, I don't have the press release.
What do you mean?
So
They didn't
how
make
about
it?
this? How about this? Opening night, December 22nd. You think the NBA knows what they're doing with these games? The Nets versus the Warriors in Brooklyn. I think Adam Silver knows what he's doing. And then Lakers Clippers in LA. That is opening night. Then you have the Christmas Day slate. How about this? Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks against the Lakers on December 25th on Christmas. The Pelicans will take on Miami. Zion Williamson will make his Christmas debut. And then one of the bigger games later on in the day, Steph Curry returns to the Christmas slate. Golden State Warriors, Giannis, and the Milwaukee Bucks. And then the Nets will take on the Celtics. Those are your games on Christmas.
What time the Suns playing?
No Suns there. No Suns on the schedule. My apologies. They did not make the cut.
Did you guys see their tweet yesterday when they?
I thought it was a good tweet.
They tweeted out Christmas is canceled for us.
Yeah.
What were you expecting to be included on that slate?
No, they're just having fun. They're having fun. They're having fun. Sean.
You had a nice off season. You had a nice off season, but come on, know where you're at still. Let's have some realistic expectations here.
Sean, you wanted it. It's making its return.
Can
I get the counter up, please?
Oh,
we
got some baseball. Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you 60
seconds of baseball. And today is a very important day in baseball because 8 p.m. Eastern tonight is the non-tender deadline.
Tell Jordan what that means.
Now, what that means is guys who are arbitration eligible, you can choose to tender.
Tell Jordan what arbitration eligible means.
Arbitration is a system that you go to, and then the team puts up a number, the player puts up a number, and an arbiter determines what the salary is going to be for the next year based on a number of factors. The reason why this date tonight is important. Normally it wouldn't be. Normally these are guys that are at the back half of a 25-man roster that just aren't worth the money that they would probably get in arbitration, so you move on from them. This will be our first indication of how much penny pinching there's going to be in Major League Baseball, because I think there could be some big names that get cut because of the coronavirus pandemic, because they didn't have fans in the building. I think we're going to see some bigger names. I think this list is going to be longer of guys who get non-tendered and get released tonight. So that's why today's an important day, because I think this will be our first look to the financial status of a bunch of teams in Major League Baseball. Done. 60 seconds of baseball here on a Wednesday. Fit it in right before the buzzer.
Well, and real quick, because I give you a hard time about baseball. It is going to be interesting because not only did they not have fans last year, the uncertainty of, who knows what it's going to look like in March still, right? When they try to do this again. So, I think you're spot on, Chris, with your 60 seconds of baseball. Tonight could be very interesting because you don't know. The uncertainty is crazy.
I'll give you one quick example, not a household name, but the Twins put on outright waivers this morning. Their outfielder, Eddie Rosario, who's going to make like $10 million this year. That's the type of player that in a normal year probably that wouldn't happen to. But because of the financial status of the league, there are going to be some bigger names that I think we're going to see on this list tonight. So it should be interesting. 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight, the deadline. Coming up next, a No Bull with Chris, Crespin, and Simone. 60 seconds of baseball behind us. Things could go from bad to worse for the Arizona Cardinals. We'll get into it next here on No Bull with Chris, Crespin, and Simone.
But first, we got to tell you about our friends over at Earnhardt Auto Center. Since 1951, nobody has taken better care of their customers. When it comes to the car buying experience, you should not trust any other name in the Valley. Earnhardt, the family, has taken care of me for many years now with their No Bull Express option. Go to nobull.com, click the Express tab. With the current times, social distancing, you want to stay home. They will literally bring a car to your front door for you to test drive for the day. I had a brand new Lexus driven to my house. The guys were super friendly, brought it up, signed the waiver that I needed to for the car. If you want to buy the car, you can handle all the financing, the application online. Go to nobull.com, click that Express tab. Like I said, you shouldn't trust anybody else in the Valley. Since Harry S. Truman was in office, Earnhardt has been taking care of people here in Arizona. Go to nobull.com, click that Express tab, nobull.com. That ain't No Bull.
The Arizona Cardinals, it might go from bad to worse for them in terms of matchup. Coming off of I would say a bad loss to the New England Patriots, and their playoff positioning a little bit up in the air now with who they're competing with for some of those final playoff spots in the NFC. And now you draw the Los Angeles Rams this week. And Sean, I was perusing the internet this morning, going over prep for the show. And I came across a story on ESPN.com, and I want to give a shout out to ESPN's Josh Weinfuss, who covers the Cardinals. He was clearly listening to you and what you were talking about on Monday's show about Kyler Murray's, what happens when he rushes well, how the Cardinals do, and what happens when they lose. Because some of the numbers that he was bringing to the table, I was reading the story, I'm like, Sean Crespin brought those numbers up on Monday. So Josh, thanks for listening, because that's clearly where he got it from.
Yeah, sure. He was getting it from my prep. But he's not wrong. I had the same numbers when I was watching the game on Sunday. I didn't get a chance to watch it until after the ASU basketball game that I was working. So I had already watched the press conferences. I already knew what the angles were going to be within the game. So I took some notes while the game was going on. I know that Kyler Murray after the game didn't want to say that he has to run the football and run it well for the Arizona Cardinals to have success, but the numbers bear out that way. I mean, they're 1-8-1 in games in which he runs for less than 30 yards, right? So that those numbers bear out. In wins this year, he averages 65 yards per game. In losses, he averages 51 yards per game. He has 8 rushing touchdowns in the red. I think this is the biggest difference. We talked about it Monday, so I'll just be brief with it. But he has 8 rushing touchdowns in the red zone, averages 5.4 yards per carry in the red zone. And when the Cardinals are dangerous in finishing off drives, it's when he's running the ball well. So I know Kyler Murray didn't necessarily want to go there and said that the Arizona Cardinals can have success and he doesn't have to run the football for them to have it. But I'll tell you this, how did they fare against the Rams last year, gentlemen? Not very well. 34-7 in the first game they lost, 31-24 in week 17. And how did he run the football in those 2 games? A combined 6 carries for 28 yards. Did have a touchdown, but he was also sacked 7 times. So does he have to run the football for them to have success? I don't necessarily believe so, because he does have a heck of an arm. The kid can throw the football. But the numbers bear out that way. When the Cardinals win football games, he is running the ball well. When he's not running the ball well, they don't win football games. And he didn't run it well against the Rams last year, and they've got 2 games coming up against a football team they haven't beat since 2016. And those are going to be 2 important football games here in the final stretch of the season.
And Jordan, to that point, this is a team that has struggled as of late to find wins. They're getting blitzed more. In these last 4 games, Kyler's been blitzed 39% of the time. The first couple weeks of the season, it was 17. So you add that up. This appears to be a bad matchup for the Cardinals. McVay has had the Cardinals number since he got to town, 6-0 against them. Could this go from bad to worse for Kyler and this offense if they can't figure out a way to adapt to what's being thrown at them?
Look, I think us in the media, we are. We're very we think about things, as they have. So if the Cardinals lose, we're talking about, because this is the end, and then they win, we're talking about, this is a playoff team. We got to just relax and let this all play out. Let the Cardinals go through these ebbs and flows, and I won't be surprised if I see the Cardinals come out and play the best game that they've played all season. Look for Kyler to be escaping the pocket early. Look, the Rams have one of the best, if not the best, defensive player in the game, in Aaron Donald. Their corners have played extremely well. And I think, that the blitz has affected him. Look at what the Cardinals blitz did to Russell Wilson, and confusing him with schemes and confusing him of who's coming, so he doesn't know where his run lane is going to be. And I think teams have flipped that and done it to Kyler Murray and try to stop the running quarterbacks. So if you're Kyler, get it, or if you're Kingsbury, get your quarterback comfortable early. But to that point, we in the media have to not expect so much greatness out of them right away. Kyler Murray will be an MVP candidate and his name has popped up in that race, but it's still okay for him to make mistakes and to have bad games. He's not Patrick Mahomes yet. I think you give him a couple years, he's going to be incredible. Build around him, build more pieces, but they're playing a tough opponent, as you said. The Rams have had their number, but I won't be surprised at all if I see the Cardinals go out and play the best game they've played all year.
See, I would be completely surprised by that, just based off of history against of the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, last year alone, I gave you the numbers: 34-7 loss, 31-24 loss. They haven't beat this team since the 2016 NFL season. I think the calendar had just shifted to 2017, but it was the 2016 season. And you're talking about the best defense they may have seen all year. You're talking about the number 2 defense in terms of yards per game, number 1 in yards per play, number 3 against the pass, number 4 against the run. They sacked the quarterback at a rate of over 8% of all dropbacks.
Yeah.
I told you they sacked him 7 times last year as well. This is a team that Sean McVay and company just have their number, and every team has that, right? I mean, for whatever reason, the Cardinals play the Seahawks well up in Seattle. Like, every team has that team that plays them well. Like the Raiders, do they have any business being on the same tier as the Chiefs? No, but they played them well, right? They're a matchup for them.
Yeah.
The Rams are a bad matchup for the Arizona Cardinals, so I would be shocked if we see them play the best game of the season.
They have been
this week. It's a tough matchup
but
for them.
Think about how shitty their defense was the last couple of years when they played the Rams. Think how much better they are defensively now this year, and offensively. They're moving the ball so much better offensively. They're coming off of a tough loss. They know they're not going to overlook the Rams. They're going into this week. Their coaches are saying the same things that we're saying right now. Hey, this is the number 2 defense, blah, blah, blah. They're really good. Aaron Donald. But you know what kills a good defensive line? A mobile quarterback. Remember Russell Wilson playing the 49ers last year, or Kyler playing the 49ers. I mean, when you have a mobile quarterback that can escape the pocket, escape the hands or the clutch of Aaron Donald, or the rest of that defensive line, it puts a lot of pressure on those guys at linebacker and in the back end.
Sure.
And so basically my point is they're not going to go into this game going, oh yeah, we're going to have our way with it. They're going into it like, shit, we got to be doing our thing here. We got to be ready to roll.
Of course.
We got to be ready to rock. These guys have whooped our ass the past couple of years. So they're going into it like, it's game time. Let's go. So that's why I think the mental aspect of it for the Cardinals locker room, I think they're coming off a loss. They're hungry. They want to beat the Rams. They know they have to if they want to stay in playoff contention and be a legitimate threat to the Seahawks at the top of the division. So I think that's all a factor in this one.
Well, you mentioned that playoff contention, and when looking at this today, and Sean, I was looking at the schedule for the Arizona Cardinals. It has 2 games against this Rams team that could provide a bunch of fits for them. Right. And this is now a Cardinals team that only has a 1-game lead over 3 teams in the NFC. And since I'm more with you, Sean, that I think the Rams are probably going to win this game on Sunday and are a bad matchup for the Cardinals, I begin to go down the rabbit hole of, is there a team that could catch the Cardinals in the playoff race? And I was comparing schedules, and I found myself, Sean, wondering who has the better path to the playoffs in the NFC. So I thought maybe we could do a game of better or not better.
Oh, don't tease me with a good time. Don't tempt me with a good time. Here, let me get you some music.
Right.
Hang on. I've got some sound effects to throw in here. I love a good game of better or not better. Let's do this. What are we doing? What are we doing? Better path to the playoffs? What are we doing?
Better path to the playoffs. So I'm going to read you the schedule for the Cardinals, so you have that as your baseline.
Okay,
and then we'll read the schedule of 3 teams that are within a game of the Cardinals. Because listen, the Detroit Lions. Sorry, if you're a listener if you're a fan of the Detroit Lions, listening to the show, you're not getting any respect here. Yeah. You're not on the list.
All right.
So I will read you the Cardinals' schedule the rest of the way. They play the Rams this Sunday, as you know.
Yes.
Then they're at the Giants.
Okay.
They are home against the Eagles.
Okay.
They are home against the 49ers, who they're sharing a home with.
Yeah.
And then they go to L.A., the final game of the season, to face the Rams. Does everybody got that? Any other questions about the Cardinal schedule?
Okay.
So now we're going to go to the 3 teams, because, listen, I think if we look at this, the Bucs, their schedule, they're going to get to 10 wins. And then the Cardinals are probably max 9 or 10 wins.
Well, right now, here's how the NFC sits in terms of the wild card. In terms of the wild card, you've got the Rams at 7-4 at 5. You got the Tampa Bay Bucks at 6, who are 7-5, and you got the Arizona Cardinals, who are 6-5. They're a full game back of the Rams. They're a half a game back of Tampa Bay, and they're hanging on to that 7 seed that you now have in each conference. But as you mentioned, you're only a game ahead of Minnesota, Chicago, and San Francisco. So let's play it. Let's play better or not better path to the playoffs. Who has the best path here? Let's do it.
Here is Minnesota's 5 games.
And they are the number 8 seed. They're the number 8 seed. They're 1 game back. Okay.
Home against Jacksonville. At the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Loss.
Home against the Bears. At the Saints. at the Lions. So the question for you, gentlemen, Sean, we'll start with you. Do the Minnesota Vikings, their path to the playoffs, better or not better than the Arizona Cardinals?
That's not better. The Arizona Cardinals have an easier path to the playoffs, in my opinion, on those games. I see, at best, Minnesota winning 2 games, which means the Cardinals would have to just go one win the rest of the way. No, not better. Jordan, what do you see?
This is tough. I see. Yeah, I mean, I got to go with Cardinals too. I think, the Vikings playing the Bears and the Lions, it's probably a win for them. But they've been really streaky. They've been up and down. They've played well. They've dominated on the ground game and then, gone to the next game against a good defense like the Buccaneers or, the Saints and just not played well. So I'm going to go, I'm going to say that the Cardinals have an easier path to the playoffs.
I agree. So right now we both have the Cardinals still in at the 7th seed. Still in. Okay. Here we go.
Just because I think the Cardinals will win one of the division games that they're in.
Okay, so you've got the Cardinals. What do you have the Cardinals going? What do you have the Cardinals going the rest of the way, Jordan? Rams this weekend, at the Giants, Eagles, 49ers at the Rams. How many wins do you see there? 5 games.
I think 4 wins.
4. So you have them going 4-1. Wow.
So Jordan's on the 10-6 bandwagon.
Yeah, you're on the 10-6. Wow. Okay. All right. Okay.
3 probably at the least, but I think
so. 3
they squeeze out another one.
Yeah, 3 puts them in this weird spot where one of these teams could catch them. I think if they win 4, none of these teams could catch them.
Yeah, I think if they win 4, they're in.
The next team up, speaking of streaky teams, the Chicago Bears. All right. Now, listen, I know they've lost 5 in a row, but listen to this schedule the rest of the way,
just
gentlemen.
a game back. Also just a game back of the Cardinals.
Just one game out.
Better or
worse?
Here we go.
Home against the Lions. Home against the Texans. At Minnesota. At Jacksonville. Home against the Packers. So, Sean, I will ask you the same question I asked about the Minnesota Vikings. The Chicago Bears' path to the playoffs, better or not better than the Arizona Cardinals?
Not better. I see at best 3 wins there. I only see 3 wins there, and I don't think that's enough to surpass the Cardinals, who are sitting a game ahead of you. I still like the Birds in the 7th seed. Jordan?
I don't think that they're going to win another game. This is a terrible offense. Mitch, they have so many issues at quarterback right now with Mitch Trubisky. I don't see them winning another game. They're not even going to be close to playoff contention.
Birds are still in.
Last team on the list, the San Francisco 49ers. Here's the schedule, gentlemen. Home against the Bills.
Okay.
Home against the Washington football team.
Okay.
At the Dallas Cowboys on what is either Sunday night or Thursday night. I can't do dates off the top of my head.
All right.
At the Cardinals, and then home against the Seahawks. Now, remember, these home games are actually here. So remember that. Those home games are actually here. But that is the schedule. So
Seahawks game could be back in Santa Clara. We'll have to wait and see.
San Francisco 49ers. Better or not better path to the playoffs than the Arizona Cardinals?
I see... It's going to come down.
This one's the close one.
It's going to come down to that game with the Arizona Cardinals. And I got to tell you, I think being on the road the way they are for this long, I'm going to have to lean towards the Birds winning that football game. I'm going to say that the Niners' path is not better to the playoffs than the Arizona Cardinals. I still have the Birds at the 7th seed. Cardinals are getting in.
Jordan?
I agree. I mean, the Niners are going to take on Washington and the Cowboys, both bad teams, but the Cardinals are taking on the Eagles and Giants. Now, they're probably the 2 better teams in the division as far as that crap division goes, but they also have to take on the Bills.
That 49er game, Cardinal Niners,
could be a playoff.
It's going to be huge.
It really could be a lot on that. Look, the Niners are getting healthy, but they still don't have their quarterback back.
Yep.
Shanahan has done a great job. They had 13 players on IR, but Raheem Mostert's back. Richard Sherman's back. I still don't think it's enough without Nick Bosa, without some of their linemen that create that pass rush for them defensively. I just don't think it's enough to really get them to that playoff spot. But they'll battle hard for it.
All right.
This 49er game on Sunday. By the way, I think of the 3 teams that we mentioned, this is the team that is closest to having the better path. I think of the 3.
But they don't have it.
But they don't have it. I'm with you guys. This Bills game that they have coming up, that's here, right?
Yeah.
So you can't underestimate the Bills walking back into the same building where the last time they played the Hail Mary occurred. The psychological factor, there could be an upset brewing, and then that could change the complexity of this season entirely. So just keep an eye on that game. Another edition of Better or Not Better here on the program. Thank you, Sound Guy. Appreciate it. Figured we would have a little fun.
So we settled it, though. We settled it. The Arizona Cardinals are in the playoffs. Okay. We don't have to play. We don't have to play the rest of the season. Cardinals are stop the count. Cardinals are already in the playoffs. All right.
Stop the count. I'm sure that's what Sean's going to want to do if he gets to an Go ahead, Jordan.
We just have to hope that the Cardinals show up in these games, and it's not a Lions or Carolina Panthers style of football game versus the Giants and the Eagles. They got to show up. They got to finish the season strong.
I mean, I got to tell you, I don't like their chances against the Rams in either game. They just can't have a fall against, like you mentioned, at the Giants. Giants are playing better football. Now, the Cardinals might catch another break, which seems to be a theme this year, right? With quarterbacks, opposing quarterbacks. I mean, they caught the Jets, right after Sam Darnold went out, and you had Joe Flacco, and then you caught the Cowboys shortly after the Dak injury, and you had the first start from Andy Dalton, and then you had the second ever start for Tua, You've caught some breaks at the quarterback position. Danny Dimes there in New York, a little banged up. You may end up catching another break there against the Giants, who have played a little bit better football. I think they've won 3 of 4. So it might be another break for you at the Giants. But, yeah, you just can't have a falter against the Giants, the Eagles. That 49ers game is going to be big. I don't love your chances against the Rams in either game, especially if it comes down to Week 17, in that final game. I don't love your chances there at L.A., so we'll see. But as of right now, I think if we're doing better or not better, hang on, damn it, I said the word.
Sound Guy. Thank you.
If we're doing better or not better,
Sound Guy's sleeping.
Path to the playoffs. I think the Cardinals right now sitting okay. They're sitting okay.
Yeah.
People need to calm down.
As they better or not better. There it is.
Like Jordan said, if they take care of their business, they should be okay. Yeah. Coming up next on the program, Sean Crespin attempts to get himself out of the hole that he has created for himself the last couple of weeks. It is Wednesday. That means we play The Line is Right. We do it next here on No Bull with Chris Crespin and Simone.
It sounds like Full House music.
Full House? That doesn't sound like a Full House music.
That's it. Danny Tanner's going to come around the corner like this.
It is cheesy. I like it. Yeah.
That's the point. All right, Sean. A little pre-interview before the game gets started here. How you feeling? Have you lost 2 in a row?
Well, I've lost 2 in a row. But there was some, I don't know if we could rewind to the beginning of the program when my esteemed colleague, Jordan Simone, brought up a line of a football game in the first segment on the day of The Line is Right. Therefore,
it's only one game on there.
On an app that shows all of the games.
Yeah. No, it only had one day. It only had Tuesday. It only had Wednesday. Sorry. Okay. Only had Wednesday. It didn't show the rest of the games.
Okay.
We'll keep an eye on it.
I mean, we're all friends here, and I would like to think that you'd be.
Hey, look, if anybody is cheating, we know that it's Sean Crespin, who will probably get 3 on the money today.
I didn't even look at it. I've got
all right, so it's
my Cardinal my Cardinal stats. Yeah. Those are my Cardinal stat note card. Got some Kyler Murray rushing statistics on the back. That's all that's here, and I'm gonna have my little notepad here for my score, and that's it.
All right, let's do it.
Let's go.
All right. So Jordan, you're the winner. So I'll give Sean the opportunity to go second in this first game. So we'll start with you as always as the defending champion. The first game on the schedule. The Cincinnati Bengals are going on the road to take on the Miami Dolphins.
Ooh, no Joe Burrow. Look, you feel bad for Joey B and the Bengals that they were playing well, they were competing, but this has got to be Miami. Who knows what's going on with Miami with Tua's injury, with Fitzmagic, but whoever's in at quarterback, their defense is good enough to get the job done. I'll take Miami minus 6.5.
Ooh. Good, and that's a damn good number.
I just want to once again credit Jordan Simone. He puts Sean in just such bad spots every time he goes first. What a great job by you.
The number that was in my head was 5.5, and this SOB says 6.5. Let's go.
So you're taking
Dolphins minus 7.
Dolphins minus 7. Sean Crespin. That is a point for Sean Crespin. You are going to be shocked at this number. It is Dolphins minus 11 and a half. Dolphins minus 11
Are the
and a
Bengals
half.
that bad with no quarterback?
Yes, they are, apparently, according to Vegas.
Well,
Game
and
number 2.
The Dolphins' defense has been legit. I think they have a turnover in like 12 straight games, which is just crazy. And they find a way to turn it into points, too. So, all right, I'll buy it.
Cleveland at Tennessee. Sean, you go first. Now, I just want to be clear here. I have the number that it opened at. The Browns did shut down their facility. They're doing stuff virtually, but I have the number that this game opened at. So that's the number we're going to use. Sean, you go first.
Okay.
Cleveland and who?
Tennessee. Cleveland at Tennessee.
And it's at Tennessee.
In Tennessee. Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
That's what the at means.
Thank you, brother. Let's go Titans minus 3.5.
Titans minus 3.5. Jordan Simone.
Exactly the number I was thinking of. That's a good number, Sean. I'll go Titans minus 4.
Titans minus 4. Jordan Simone responds in a big
on.
way. It's Titans minus 6. Titans
Wow.
minus 6 for this football game. Game number
No
3
respect
on the
for
line is
believer.
right. A heated battle right now. This is a heated battle, 1-1. Let me scroll here. Okay, the Sunday night game. The Broncos go on the road to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Jordan Simone.
How's there even a line for this?
I'll say Chiefs minus 11.
Chiefs minus 11.
It's got to be higher than that. Let's go Chiefs minus 11.5. Let's prices right them.
Chiefs. Sean Crespin. That's another one. He's up 2-1. This is Chiefs minus 13.5. 13.5.
I was going to say 14.
You would have lost then. You would have gone over. So Jordan Simone would have won that one. That would have been bad for you, Sean. Game number 4, as Sean has a 2-1 lead. Buffalo at San Francisco. Well, one of the 2 Monday night games. Buffalo at San Francisco.
At San Francisco, at
Sean
Arizona. Okay.
At Arizona, yep.
I go first this one?
You go first on this one.
Buffalo minus 4.5.
Buffalo minus 4.5.
Gosh, I just have no faith in Mullins. I'll say Buffalo minus 5.
Sean Crespin.
Woo!
Buffalo minus 2.5.
Holy
Buffalo
cow.
minus 2.5 in this football
Apparently
game. Sean
Vegas
Crespin,
has more faith in Mullins than Jordan and I both do, because I was agreeing
yes.
with Jordan. Yeah.
Going to game 5, Sean
can wrap
is
it.
1 away from picking up a victory. Game number 5. What a game for Jordan to lose if this is the one he loses on. The Giants at the Seahawks. The Giants at the Seahawks. Oh, you know what? I take it back. This game has been taken completely off the board. I don't have a number for it. So we're going to skip this one on my list. Jacksonville at Minnesota. Jacksonville at Minnesota.
Why
Sean,
was
you
that
go.
game scrubbed?
I don't know.
the
It's just
list?
not on the board that I'm looking at in
Probably
front of
because
me.
of
I
the
don't have a
Jones
number.
injury.
That's probably accurate.
Am I going first?
Who went first in the last one? I forgot.
I think
was
it's me.
scrambling
I
for
think
another
I'm up
game.
first.
Oh, so Jordan, you go
Jacksonville
first. In this one.
at Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yes, in Minnesota. I know
I'll
we had
do
the other game that was in Arizona.
Minnesota minus 7.5.
Minnesota minus 7.5. Sean.
It's too much respect. I'm gonna go Minnesota minus 7.
Jordan Simone, with his back
Son of a
against the wall, comes up with a big victory. It's Minnesota minus 9.5.
Wow. Okay.
Minnesota minus 9.5.
Actually,
Sean, you're
those got
going
itches.
first in this one.
I hate when the
And
pressure's on.
boy, how the tables have turned here. With a chance to win, Raiders at the Jets, Sean. Raiders at the Jets. Handicap your own team.
This sucks. After the game they played on Sunday, I have no idea what Vegas thinks about the Raiders.
43-6.
Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate that. Raiders minus... And the Jets are so bad. Raiders minus 7?
Raiders minus 7. Jordan, what are you doing with that?
Raiders minus 7.5.
Raiders minus 7.5. Boy, is this a development. On
Stop
the money,
it.
Jordan Simone. It is Raiders minus 7.5. We are tied, and we need a 7th game.
Stop it.
Let's go.
Unbelievable how the tables have turned. All right,
Curry,
Jordan, we've gone
bang.
to overtime. Colts at the Texans, Jordan. Colts at the Texans.
Colts at the Texans.
Sean's feeling it now. Sean is feeling the pressure.
Got swamp
This is
ass going
tough.
and everything. All right, go ahead.
The Texans have been playing lights out, man. Their offense can
Playing
move
better,
the
yeah.
football.
Colts are good.
Defensively, they couldn't stop a nosebleed. The Colts, however, are good defenses. So I'm going to say Colts at the Texans. Colts -4.
Colts -4.
That's a good number. Colts did not look good last week. Playing a good football team, though. Texans are not that great. You said -4?
4.
Man, am I going to be the first team to ever blow a 3-1 lead? And the line is right. Colts -4.5.
Colts -4.5. Jordan Simone, run to the fridge, get some champagne, baby, because it's Colts -3.5. He has blown the 3-1 lead, ladies and gentlemen. And for the third week in a row, Sean Crespin has gone down in the line is right in dramatic fashion.
It feels
Sean
good.
Crespin,
It feels good. Look, I just want to say, I put in a lot of time and energy in thinking into this, and just come back from 3-1. We thought we were down. We never found out. We just got back to our trust. We trusted our training, and we won again.
This one hurts.
Sean Crespin, your thoughts?
This one hurts, man. I'm riding a 3-week losing streak, and then
You had him backed against the wall.
To think
too.
that I had my own team right there, my Raiders. I just had to say 7.5, and it would have been over. I went with 7. I should always go with the hook. I didn't do it. And, we'll just have to show back up next week. You forget about it. You move forward. On to Cincinnati. On to week 14.
On that note, that'll do it for us here on the Wednesday edition of No Bull with Chris, Crespin, and Simone. You can always follow the show on Twitter at NoBull_podcast. Follow me on Twitter at Shoe Radio. Sean at SCrespin02. Jordan, tweet all your gambling thoughts to Jordan. He's riding high right now, 3 weeks in a row. At Jordan Simone 38. Jordan, tell everybody what they need to do.
Please subscribe to the show. I'm trying to get my future kids to college. Thank you.
You can do so Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, Pocket Cast, wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back on Friday, a full football preview for you on Friday. Lots of college football and pro football to discuss. I think ASU's back in action this week, gentlemen, so we'll probably get into that on Friday as well. In the meantime, everybody, enjoy the Wednesday afternoon football. We'll talk to you on Friday.